Today's practice will be focusing on our breathing diaphragm. So come to a comfortable seated position and close your eyes. Turn your attention inward. Start to notice how you're breathing. Your breathing diaphragm is a domed shaped muscle that sits right below your lungs and heart and right above your stomach, liver, spleen, pancreas. When you inhale, the muscles of the diaphragm contract and the diaphragm dome starts to flatten out and push downward. As you exhale, the fibers of the diaphragm lengthen and the dome returns to its shape. So with your abdominal wall soft and relaxed, as you inhale and the diaphragm pushes down, your inner organs that are beneath the diaphragm will start to extend outward. And then as you exhale, the dome will return to its shape. Your organs will move back inward. There's also a tendon that extends from the diaphragm that goes down towards your lumbar vertebrae. So you can imagine as you inhale that cord kind of pulling downward and flattening the dome of the diaphragm on the inhale, and then relaxing and releasing as you exhale. So taking a few breaths, just fully engaging in the movement of your diaphragm as you breathe. And allowing the placement of your attention here to fully relax you, to bring you fully present into this moment. Now we'll use our hands to help us as a vigil to fully embody the movement of the diaphragm. So bring your hands and interlace your fingers just below your rib cage into a dome shape. And as you inhale, the fingers press downward and interlace more tightly. As you exhale, they come up to a dome shape and separate apart. So keep breathing and moving like this. Inhale, interlace the fingers, they push downward, and exhale, slide them back up. So you can start to feel that sliding, expanding and contracting movement of the diaphragm. Now bring your right hand across the body to the left side of the body, and we'll continue with that image. So inhale, arms upright, and as you exhale, you'll lengthen over to the side. So just increasing the contraction and lengthening motion of the diaphragm. So inhaling, you're right, straight upright, and the diaphragm contracts. As you exhale, you lengthen and the diaphragm lengthens. So once again, inhaling, diaphragm moving down, exhaling, diaphragm moving up and lengthening. Good. So just take a brief pause to notice one side and the other, and then we'll do the other side. So now the left arm comes across to the right side of the body. You'll take a deep inhalation upright, and as you exhale, lean and stretch over to the side. So inhaling, the diaphragm contracts and moves closer together. Exhaling, it lengthens. You exaggerate the lengthening by lengthening your side as well. Good. And releasing, coming to center, and noticing how both sides feel, moving when you're ready into downward facing dog. When you arrive in this position, just notice how it feels to breathe here while you pay very close attention to your diaphragm and how it moves. So you're in a slight inversion, and that might change things for you. When you take an inhale next, go ahead and roll forward into plank pose, top of a push-up. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Hold here as you inhale, and then use the upward lifting movement of the diaphragm on the exhale to lift you up into cobra. We're going to do that 2 more times. So inhale, lower down, and exhale, use the lift of the diaphragm to lift you up. Good. Inhale, soften and ground to the earth. Exhale, float yourself up. Making your way to downward facing dog once again. Moving on, we're going to start imagining the diaphragm as a soft parachute floating up and down. So with your next exhale, step your right foot forward. As you inhale, soften here down to your feet and ground. As you exhale, use the floating, billowing up of the parachute of the diaphragm to lift your arms overhead. As you breathe and hold here, continue to maintain a connection to your diaphragm. Inhaling, allow the downward movement of the diaphragm to ground you, and exhaling, that upward billow of the diaphragm to soften you. Good. And then take the hands down, step back to downward facing dog, and we'll do the second side. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, soften and ground. Exhale, use the floating, billowing diaphragm to lift you up, and use the arms as an extension of that softness and of the diaphragm. Good. Remembering the tendon of the diaphragm pulling downward, grounding you as you inhale, and the softness of the parachute lifting you up as you exhale. Good. Planting the hands and stepping back into downward facing dog. Once again, reconnecting with your breath. On an exhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. Ground the back heel down. Take a deep inhale here to ground yourself and prepare. As you exhale, float yourself up into Warrior One. Inhale, open to Warrior Two. Good. Take a deep exhalation here. As you inhale, flip that back heel up into a high crescent lunge. Exhale, soften. Good. Inhale, prepare, and exhale, take the back foot forward, knee into the chest. Good. We're going to move like that. Inhale, ground. Exhale, billow the diaphragm and let it lift you up. Good. Inhale and exhale, knee to chest. Beautiful. Finding that softness of the diaphragm. Inhaling, crescent lunge, and then exhale, open up into a twist. So your left hand will come onto the right knee. The right arm will extend back behind you. And try to find a softness in the twist as you breathe and hold. Good. Plant your hands onto the floor and make your way back into downward facing dog. Adjusting as you need to, softening to your breath. With an exhale, step your left foot forward, ground the back heel down. Inhale to reconnect to your foundation, and exhale all the way up into Warrior One. Inhale, Warrior Two. Take a deep exhalation here. And then inhale, spin the back heel up, take a crescent lunge. As you exhale, feel the billow of the parachute of your diaphragm. Inhale, prepare, and exhale, find your balance. Take the knee into the chest. Good. Inhale, ground. Take your breath all the way down into your feet, and exhale, lift, and allow the diaphragm to soften you and find that connection to your balance as you breathe and move from your diaphragm. Good. 3 of those. And then on your next breath out, you'll twist. So now the right arm goes towards the left knee, and the left arm reaches back behind you as you breathe and soften into a twist. Plant the hands and step back into downward facing dog. Reconnecting with your breath. Taking now the right foot forward into Pigeon Pose. As your hips settle down, the shoulders will remain upright as you breathe and embody your diaphragm. Here you can imagine the diaphragm like an elevator going down to the bottom floors as you inhale and lifting back up as you exhale. For an added challenge, you can lift your arms up overhead like this and try to feel that lightness and lift of the exhale, aiding in your reach of the arms upward. Good. Planting the hands down onto the floor, stepping back to downward facing dog. Once again, checking in with either side, noticing how you feel, and then bringing the left foot forward into Pigeon Pose once again. So as you breathe here, again, we'll keep the shoulders upright instead of folding forward into the thigh stretch. So we can practice embodying the buoyancy and lift of the diaphragm. So you can choose now to imagine your diaphragm as a parachute or an elevator, or even imagining someone pulling on the cura, those 2 tendons that reach down, pulling down as you inhale and releasing as you exhale. And then coming into a seated position to end your practice today. So today I've offered you some of my favorite images for embodying your diaphragm. And in such a short time together, you really can't fully grasp and receive the benefits of embodying your breathing diaphragm. So I do hope you take these techniques with you and try them out at any time. You can imagine your diaphragm as a parachute or an elevator. And when you do, you start to embody that softness, that lift, that groundedness. You start to move yourself out of the fight or flight response and have a more easeful way of being. Your breathing becomes more free, more deep, so your blood is more oxygenated, your whole of your insides are detoxified. There are profound benefits that I hope you start to feel as you continue to practice embodying your breathing diaphragm. Lots of love to you, and namaste.